So we saw a buff to the PP Bison from Modern Warfare, and that had me thinking, what are the best weapons from Modern Warfare that can compete with all these new Vanguard and Cold War weapons inside Warzone at the moment? These have to be the most consistent weapons in the entire game since they were in the game since the launch of Warzone. So like I said, we're going to be going over all of that in this video. If you do enjoy content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel as we try to reach our goal of 50k subscribers. Click that link in the description down below and subscribe to our second channel as well. We do post extra content over there. But this had me thinking, what other guns can get buffed? And some of the guns I'd like to see buffed is mag sizes to certain weapons like the Odin, the Scar, and hopefully they could change some of these weapons and make them a bit more viable inside Warzone. They don't need to change them a ton. So what we're doing here is we're going to compare some of these SMGs from Modern Warfare against probably the most popular SMG in the game right now, which is the well gun. It's got the most consistent TTK in terms of close range TTK. The MP40 is really good as well, but the main reason people choosing that gun is because of the recoil control, not because of the TTK, and obviously that is something we need to factor in as well. But the well gun overall is probably the best SMG in my opinion. Now, we are comparing mainly Modern Warfare guns here, like I said, obviously, because that is what this video is all about. So we've got Fennec, AUG with the 5.56 ammo, MP5, and the new Bison with the updated stats here. And as you can see here with the TTKs at close range, which is what we mainly want to focus on because we are using these guns for close range, the Fennec and the Modern Warfare AUG are absolutely the quickest. We've got the Modern Warfare MP5 pretty much in that mix as well. The well gun is in there, and the PP Bison's quite a slow TTK weapon, but it does have very low recoil. As you can see here, it drops off even further, the PP Bison, so using it at longer ranges is going to give you a really slow TTK too. But one thing I do want to focus on is hitting different shot locations. So if we choose extremities here, what you'll notice is the Fennec and the AUG at close range don't change the TTK. And you can hit any shot location with these two weapons and it doesn't change, whereas the MP5 and the well gun do change, as well as the Bison, of course. Now, that previous comparison was with 300 health, and we're doing the exact same thing again here. Now we're doing it with long range rifles because we want to see what are the best long range rifles in the game at the moment, especially when it comes to Modern Warfare options. So we've got the AMAX, the Ram 7, the M13, the BREN, the PKM, and the M4 is also in the mix here as well when it comes to TTKs, very similar to the Ram 7, a little bit slower than that. So I didn't want to add that in because we can only add up to 5 weapons at the moment for this comparison. But I did want to add in the BREN because that is probably the most broken gun when it comes to long range in the game at the moment, mainly down to its recoil. But also it is a very fast killing weapon as well. But what we can see here when it comes to chest shots, the BREN actually isn't the fastest here. We've actually got the AMAX, the PKM, and the Ram 7 kind of in the mix here in terms of the fastest killing. The BREN, again, only has 2 damage drop-offs as well. So at the longest possible damage drop-off range, and to be fair, most gunfights take place between 40 and 100 meters. But if you were going to, let's say, 80 meters, for example, you can see that the AMAX actually kills the quickest to the chest. We've got the PKM as well, that kills really quick. The M13 and the Ram 7 do pretty well too. The BREN's in there as well, but is actually the slowest out the bunch. Now, if you do hit different shot locations, once again, at the longest possible range here, we're hitting extremities now. You've got the AMAX being probably one of the most consistent guns here. The PKM's also very consistent as well, probably the fastest killing gun here. Now, the final quick comparison I want to give you here is chest shot TTKs with 300 health, but only comparing the Modern Warfare guns because we added the Grau and the M4 into the list as well, because I know people will ask about these weapons right here. So as you can see here, at long range, which is our main focus, we've got TTKs for the Grau at 984 milliseconds. The M4 is 962, which is a little bit more consistent than the Grau, of course. The M13 is 938. And then if we hit the extremity shots, just to see what the difference is here, the Grau is again the slowest. Then we've got the M4, then the M13, and then we've got the AMAX as well, which is one of the quickest weapons here. And then we've also got the Ram 7, which again is one of the quickest TTK weapons here. So let's go through these classes. Starting off at number 5, we've got the M13 with the Fennec. Now, the Fennec's one of the fastest killing consistent Modern Warfare SMGs in the entire game. It's overall got a really good TTK, even comparing it to some of the Vanguard weapons out there. So I do recommend it. The only issue is that the mag is quite small. I do hope they kind of buff this, make this a 50 or a 60 round mag, because the fire rate is really quick on this gun. The best build for this is definitely the deadfall barrel for the range and the recoil control, 5mm laser, no stock, sleight of hand, and the 40 round drums. Don't choose any underbarrels, it's going to slow the gun down way too much. And you could use this without a silencer, but I do recommend it for this weapon in particular. It extends out that damage range for you, and the no stock is just going to make this gun feel very snappy. When it comes to the M13 build, you do need to use the meta build for this, which is the mono suppressor, longest barrel, which is the Tempest Marksman, VLK optic, 60 round mags. I kind of hope they give this gun like a 100 round drum mag option like the Kilo has, because to be honest, it fires through ammo very quickly. The damage per mag is not great on this weapon, but the overall TTK of the gun is very good, and it's one of the kind of lowest recoil good TTK guns in the game. This can compete with the BREN 100%. At number 4, we've got your hard hitting loadout. Now you do need to be able to control the recoil of the AMAX, and again we've got the standard build here, so mono suppressor, Zodiac barrel, which is the best barrel for this gun, VLK optic, 45 round mags because that is the largest mags, and the commando foregrip. Now I wish the mags were a little bit bigger, especially now with that 300 health, so maybe 50 or a 60 round mag would be really good for the AMAX. But again, that is kind of the main reason, because that extra health, you do need bigger mags on these weapons now, so definitely keep that in mind when using the Modern Warfare guns. And then when it comes to the JAK-12, it's pretty OP at the moment. It's the fastest killing close range weapon in the entire game. And that's not really talking about SMGs. This is actually the fastest killing close range gun. So you do want to use the Forge Tac Marauder to extend out the damage range, tighten the pellet spread to make sure you land all your shots. Torrent Barrel is going to do the exact same thing. 5mm laser is going to tighten the hipfire accuracy again, so you don't really need aim down sights to use this. 20 round drum mags to give you bigger mags, especially with that extra health. And then the stipple grip tape, or you can use the rubberized grip tape, which will also help out with your hipfire accuracy as well. At number 3, we have an LMG class for people who do love these kind of weapons. Obviously, keep in mind you will move a little bit slower, but you will have a gun that hits absolutely hard, especially at long range. This gun not only beams, but also is going to kill way faster than most weapons you put up against it. So you do want to use the mono suppressor, extended barrel, tac laser for the faster ADS time. I think it's really important. VLK optic, which will help out with the recoil as well, and the snatch grip, which is the best grip for the PKM. Then when it comes to the other weapon, you were using the Modern Warfare MP5, which is still a very consistent TTK weapon, mainly at close range now. If you do try and extend it past the 10 meter mark, it's not going to be all that good, and that's why we paired it with the PKM, because that's solid when it comes to TTKs at long range. So you want to use the monolithic integral, the 5mm laser, collapsible stock, stipple grip tape, and 45 round mags. Again, we're using no underbarrel here because we want to make sure we're getting the fastest possible movement out of these Modern Warfare weapons, because keep in mind we get absolutely tons of attachments for the Vanguard guns. We need to be able to compete there, so make sure you are not slowing your gun down, especially when it comes to SMGs for Modern Warfare. At number 2, we're using 2 of the most popular Modern Warfare guns in the same loadout. So I can see a lot of people trying this out, to be honest, but we've got the Kar 98 and the Grau, and the way the Grau is built for this class is a little bit different to what you're used to. We're using it as sniper support because it's super low recoil, it can handle close, medium, and long range really well. We already know that, but you already get pretty clean iron sights with the Nexus barrel and with the Archangel barrel. Now, the only reason I went with the Nexus is because it will give you a slightly faster ADS time, and that is the reason I went for it. But you can go for the Archangel if you really wanted to for the cleaner iron sights. It will still help out an absolute ton, but we went with the mono suppressor for the extended damage range. We went for the tac laser for the faster ADS times, commando foregrip for the recoil stabilization, and the 50 round mags. But I would more than likely recommend the 60 for this gun now, because you do need the extra mag size for that 300 HP if you are going to be using it for that. So if you're using it on Rebirth, 50 rounds might be enough, but especially on Caldera now, you do need the 60 round mags, and that is the way I would build the Grau for a sniper support. And then we've got the Kar 98K build, which everyone kind of knows about now. It's probably the meta build that we've been talking about for forever now. It's been 2 years. So mono suppressor, 27.6 inch barrel, tac laser, sniper scope, and the only difference here is we're using the focus perk to help with the flinch resistance, because the gun did get a bit of a nerf when it comes to flinch. And last but not least, at number 1, we have probably the most super consistent long-range AR inside Warzone at the moment, which is the Ram 7. The Ram 7 is completely solid. The only drawback is that you only get a 50 round mag instead of a 60 round mag, so hopefully they kind of bring that up. But As you've seen in the TTK charts, the Ram 7 was always in the mix when it comes to good TTKs. It's also a little bit easier to control than what I remember. I don't know if that's just me personally or if they have reduced the recoil of this weapon, but overall I do think it's a little bit easier to control than before. Obviously you do need to get into that muscle memory of controlling the recoil down to the right instead of down to the left, but keep that in mind when you're using this weapon. But overall this is the meta build, so mono suppressor, ranger barrel, VLK optic, 50 round mags and commando foregrip. And then we're pairing that with the Modern Warfare AUG, which is one of the fastest killing SMGs in the game, regardless of what game we're talking about, Vanguard, Cold War or Modern Warfare. So this is going to be a solid SMG regardless, and it's got one of the fastest TTKs and also one of the most consistent TTKs depending on shot location as well. So what I would build this like is a bit more of a speed build for this gun. You can go for the 60 round mags, but it'll slow you down an absolute ton. So I don't really recommend it for that reason. But overall, this is the speed build, so you can go for the lightweight suppressor so you don't con your ADS. You can go for the 5mm laser, which is going to help with the hipfire accuracy, ultralight hollow for the faster aim walking movement speed, stipple grip tape, and 30 round mags. Personally, if I was to use this gun, I would actually take the suppressor off, because the suppressor actually does con your damage range, so you're better off using no suppressor. And considering most people are using recoil boosters and stuff now, you don't really need it, and I would actually go with sleight of hand, and that's going to help out a bit more when it comes to reloading that 30 round mag without conning your ADS too much. So that is the way I would actually build the AUG, but you can build it with the suppressor if you do want to. But overall, this is probably the best build when it comes to the Modern Warfare AUG, and this is probably the #1 loadout I would be using if I was to use Modern Warfare weapons. Let me know what you think about these loadouts down in the comments below if you're going to try any of them out. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new, and thank you very much for watching.